Hello, my name is Anime Addiction, and welcome to another episode of Let's Analyze Death Battle. Today's episode will feature Ryu from the Street Fighter series and Scorpion from the Mortal Kombat series. Now, I am quite familiar with both of these characters, considering that I have played both games and I've also watched their movies. Unfortunately, they were pretty bad for the most part. And I've seen their anime and animated cartoon series as well. And as always, if you have never seen this Death Battle before, if you don't want to get spoiled, please go to screwattack.com or their YouTube channel so you don't get spoiled. And like always, so you catch all the information and not get distracted, I'm going to let the stars of Death Battle, Wiz and Boomstick, make the initial introductions and pre-battle analysis. So guys, you're up again.
Two marquee warriors, arcade rivals since the 90s, now facing off for true superiority.
Ryu, the Wandering World Warrior.
And Scorpion, the ninja from hell.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Endlessly walking the earth and improving his fighting skill is the life of Ryu, the Japanese martial artist without a home.
But there's more to this karate hobo than meets the eye. After being dumped on a doorstep by his douchebag parents, he was adopted by the mysterious Gouken. From that moment on, Ryu dedicated his life to martial arts. Probably on some sort of parental vengeance quest.
He trained alongside his best friend and rival, Ken Masters. Gouken taught them the Ansatsuken, or Assassin's Fist, fighting style. But the name is actually a bit misleading. While originally designed as a means to murder, Gouken's personal take on the Ansatsuken is based around karate, kenpo, judo, and not killing people. Unlike the ways of his violent brother, Akuma, who ultimately would prove to be his undoing.
Oh yeah, he can finger paint. Well, the Assassin's Fist sure isn't your average McDojo style, because Ryu's Shoryuken is an uppercut so powerful, it launches his victim sky high. The Hadouken uses a fighter's willpower to fire a blast of energy and destroy evil things, like waterfalls.
And physics?
And finally, the Tatsumaki Senpu...
Tatsumaki Senpukyaku.
I had it! Anyway, the thing that I totally know how to pronounce gives the finger to gravity and lets him briefly fly around like some sort of human helicopter kicking machine.
He also has a powerful step kick he calls the Judan Sokutageri.
Hey, we don't have the translation for that one. I'm on it. And diarrhea joke foot? What does it do? Kick people in the stomach so hard that he takes them to Brown Town?
With the correct kanji, it's more like high-level leg blade kick.
You know it's diarrhea kick forever in my mind now, right?
At the age of 23, Ryu entered the first World Warrior tournament to test his skills. He swept through 9 powerful combatants before taking on the champion, Sagat. After a hard-fought battle, Sagat was set to take the win.
Until he made the mistake of being a good sport. After beating the shit out of Ryu, Sagat offered him a helping hand up. Instead of taking it, Ryu gave him a surprise punch so hard, it ripped his chest open and nearly killed the guy. Dick move, Ryu. Dick move.
This was Ryu's first taste of the dark power buried within him, the Satsui no Hado, literally the surge of murderous intent.
Still not as good a name as the diarrhea joke foot.
The Satsui no Hado gives Ryu incredible power, but at the expense of his humanity. He can tap a portion of this power to safely enhance his attacks. However, should his desire to win become so great he would even commit murder, the Satsui no Hado can overwhelm him and he will lose control, becoming Evil Ryu.
Now we're talking!
Evil Ryu has enormous power, to the point of being almost unstoppable. He can even blast a skyscraper to smithereens.
He can teleport short distances, even passing through attacks along the way. More impressively, despite Goken never teaching him this, Evil Ryu can use the Ansatsuken's forbidden technique, the Shungoku Satsu, more commonly known as the Raging Demon.
With this, Evil Ryu turns his foes' own sins against them and eradicates their soul. It was this exact attack which Akuma, a master of the Dark Hado, used to murder Ryu's master. Since then, Akuma has been haunting Ryu, tempting him to succumb and fully commit to the Dark Satsui no Hado as well. Basically, this is karate Star Wars.
Oh, you call everything Star Wars.
Well, some even speculate that Akuma is Ryu's father.
Mother of God! It is karate Star Wars!
But Goken's teachings instilled a powerful belief in Ryu. If he can resist and shun this dark temptation, he can attain an even greater power.
By detaching himself from all emotion, he enters an alternate state of consciousness.
Like a Jedi.
This boosts his speed, power, and can do all sorts of crazy shit to his abilities.
This is the power of nothingness.
Stupid name.
The power of nothingness is more focused than the Dark Hado, allowing Ryu complete control over his mind and body. Goken even once used this power to separate himself from his soul in order to survive Akuma's raging demon. Surprise, Obi-Wan is still alive.
Ryu is skilled enough to take on numerous thugs at once, tough enough to survive being impaled, and strong enough to overpower the genetically created super warrior Seth. Oh, and he's fast enough to dodge point-blank gunfire.
Yet as Evil Ryu, his aura is so strong he can just walk through bullets.
That said, being the Street Fighter poster boy doesn't mean he's the top world warrior. He's lost a number of matches fair and square against the likes of M. Bison, Oro, and even his best friend Ken.
However, many of these losses may stem from his struggle to contain the power of the Dark Satsui no Hado, which is obviously quite difficult to do in the middle of battle.
But when Ryu unleashes his full potential, stay the fuck out of his way!
My name is Ryu, and the ultimate power has awakened within me.
From Earthrealm to Outworld, there were few who didn't fear the ruthless clan known as the Lin Kuei.
Except the Shirai Ryu, a clan with some serious balls! Not only did they defect from the Lin Kuei, they mocked them on a daily basis by wearing obvious palette swaps of their clothes. They also like to pull classic pranks like annoying phone calls, TPing Lin Kuei homes, and constantly slaughtering their loved ones. Got 'em.
From the Shirai Ryu came Hanzo Hazashi, the hellish ninja of vengeance. But before he became the stuff of nightmares, he was once an ordinary young child, whose father just happened to be a deadly assassin. In hopes of sparing him from a violent life of regret and murder, Hanzo's father forbade him from ever joining the clan.
Sorry, son. You're not allowed to be awesome.
However, as time went on, Hanzo became desperate. He needed a way to support not only himself, but also his wife and son. Faced with few other options, he reluctantly disobeyed his father and began the life of a ninja assassin.
As a ninja, Hanzo is exceptionally skilled in ninjutsu, pai gua, hapkido, and numerous secret Chinese martial arts. But it's his weapon of choice that earned him the nickname Scorpion.
Get over here!
While his kunai on a rope is iconic and deadly, I'm more partial to whatever the hell that snake creature is that lives in his hand. Well, in whatever form, it impales the opponent and pulls him in close, usually for a sweet uppercut to the jaw.
This is similar to an ancient assassination weapon used in the Tang Dynasty called the rope dart. It's extremely difficult to master, making Scorpion's finesse all the more impressive.
He's also proficient with several weapons like long swords, twin katanas, and axes.
Scorpion's weaponry and combat prowess were put to the ultimate test by the legendary Lin Kuei warrior, Bi-Han, aka Sub-Zero. And things didn't go so well for our yellow-clad ninja. Next thing he knew, Scorpion was waking up in the Netherrealm.
More commonly known as Hell. Bet you wish you listened to Dad now. Then maybe you could have ended up in a happier place with your murdered wife and kid. Oh yeah, they're dead too.
Enraged at Sub-Zero for apparently killing all whom he'd sworn to protect, Scorpion scored a second chance by striking a deal with the sorcerer Quan Chi. In exchange for his loyalty, Scorpion was resurrected as a phantom of the Netherrealm.
And being reborn as a demon of vengeance has its perks. Scorpion can now teleport, summon fire at will, and create portals in and out of the Netherrealm he was spawned from, literally dragging others to hell. Whilst there, his plus ones can enjoy such tourist locations as Lava Pit and witness the corpse burning celebration called the Festival of Torture. Fun times!
The Netherrealm is the source of Scorpion's demonic power, and his strength rises simply by his being there.
Scorpion is so vicious he can perform no fewer than 13 different fatalities.
He can rip a person's head from their body, spine included.
That's not something you just do. That's art right there.
Rip off his mask to show his true face.
Ah! What the fuck is that thing?
And score a kill by transforming into a, well, giant scorpion, of course. Or a penguin.
Wait, what?
And although Scorpion was far from the most powerful combatant in the Mortal Kombat tournament, he has defeated lethal warriors across multiple worlds. He's conquered sorcerers, demons, cyborgs, and eventually avenged his death by incinerating Bi-Han in the Netherrealm.
But it turns out that Sub-Zero guy was kind of innocent. The man actually responsible for the death of his family was Quan Chi. You know, that guy he swore himself to and has been working for this whole time? Man, Scorpion's kind of like the Charlie Brown of Mortal Kombat.
As penance for his mistake, Scorpion dedicated his life after death to protecting the late Sub-Zero's younger brother, Sub-Zero.
Though he still found time for shooting threes, hitting homers, and hosting his own cooking show.
This week on Cooking with Scorpion, learn about chopping,
Yeah, I'm not gonna trust anything that guy makes.
cake decorating,
Does he even eat anymore?
Aside from his weakness for the culinary arts, Scorpion's win-loss record is not as intimidating as you might think. But consider the outrageous scope of his competition.
Any way you look at it, it's tough to be much more of a badass than a fire-breathing skeleton ninja from hell.
I am Scorpion. Vengeance will be mine!
Alright, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
And once again, Boomstick and Wiz did a great job of introducing these two characters to us, and I happened to learn a few extra things that I didn't really know about them before. So kudos to them on that. Now, as for my 2 cents on how this battle might go out, let's start with the star of Street Fighter, Ryu. Now, when we're talking about the fighting game genre, there is no doubt that whenever you ask some video game player who your favorite fighting character is in Street Fighter, more often than not they'll say this guy, because he is practically the mascot of Street Fighter. He's well known, he is easy to use in the games, he's probably the basic character that everyone starts off with in order to learn how to play the game, and his combos and his techniques are relatively easy to pull off. Now, as for the death battle itself, well, Ryu has not only his own his fighting style, but he also has the Satsui no Hado, I think that's what I call it. I'm terrible at names myself here. Otherwise known as the Surge of Murderous Intent, the Raging Demon, and the Power of Nothingness is a bit new to me since I haven't played many Street Fighter games in recent times, and it sort of reminds me of those Marvel vs. Capcom games in which Ryu can pull off his supers with almost unbelievable combos and hit numbers and damage points. But in any case, it looks like they will be giving him these abilities as well as his regular moves, so that's going to help a lot against his fight with Scorpion. Now, as to how much it will help him against Scorpion, that remains to be seen. Now, Scorpion I am also familiar with since I have played the Mortal Kombat games, though I'm not that very good at them since I never could get used to the block button on the arcade nor on the home PlayStations or any other games that I've played with them. But in any case here, as for his matchup against Ryu, I would say that Scorpion already has one advantage against Ryu. Technically speaking, he's already dead, and it's kinda hard to kill something that has already been killed. However, in accordance to the rules of Mortal Kombat, in order to participate, Scorpion must take a form that is subject to mortality, or it can be destroyed, as is in the case of Raiden. So it's not that he cannot be defeated, it's just that it's very hard to be defeating him. And Ryu's going to have pretty much of an uphill battle, especially since Scorpion, it not only has his ninjutsu skills, his weapons, and especially that kunai on a rope, but he's also got supernatural abilities as well, including the fact that he can drag an opponent to the Netherrealm with him, in which case that could give him an added extra bonus against Ryu. Now, I'm not saying that Scorpion is going to win this fight, but in this case, he has a good possibility of defeating the World Warrior. Now, as for who I think would win in this death battle, considering all the information that we have on both combatants, I would have to give the win to Scorpion, and for these types of reasons. For one thing, as I said before, he's already dead, so technically speaking, he has very little else to lose if, and so he wouldn't have that much of a fear of death in the first place. And second of all, unlike Ryu, Scorpion has the ability to call on the power of the Netherrealm if he manages to drag Ryu into it, which I have a sneaky suspicion he will, because in Death Battle you're supposed to use all your abilities and your weapons to their fullest potential, and that is an ability to drag his opponent into the Netherrealm. And why wouldn't you, after all? It would give you an advantage, and you can't say it's calling in outside help because no one else is helping you in the Netherrealm. You're just going to absorb more power from it, and that's all there is to it. And finally, it's because even though Ryu has the ability to use the Raging Demon, such as Akuma could, there's no guarantee that it will A, work on Scorpion. It all depends on whether or not he had a soul to begin with after being dead, or B, if he's able to get close enough to use him. With Scorpion's ability to teleport and all that sort of thing, Ryu's greatest weapons may not be enough to take Scorpion down. However, instead of just simply talking about it, let's see if I'm right and have a look at this death battle. So, Boomstick and Wiz, give us hell, or at least give us a fight that will give the fighters hell.
And now it's time for a death battle!
Get over here! Can't fool me! Come on! Fight! Come here! Hadouken! Can you stand up after that? I'll finish this. You will join me in hell. This is some fight. Hadouken! Neither of us have reached our full potential. As if that matters. It's not over. Surprised? I'll show you what I'm made of! Don't expect mercy! Concentrate. I will not succumb to evil. I walk the path of the true world. This is the power of mankind! Hadouken! I walk a path with no end. I will crush our foes!
KO!
I'm no chef, but that looks a bit overcooked.
Ryu's Satsui no Hado and the Power of Nothingness were incredibly powerful, but raw power alone is not enough to destroy Scorpion.
Yet Scorpion's advantage of already being dead didn't make this a cakewalk. In fact, Ryu had the perfect way to permanently end Scorpion, the soul-killing Raging Demon. But he could avoid the instant murder move thanks to his awesome ninja skills and teleportation.
Not to mention Ryu has very little experience actually using the Raging Demon anyway. But most importantly, Scorpion's strength increases the longer he remains in the Netherrealm, with no defined limit. Once trapped in hell with Scorpion, Ryu stood little chance in the long run.
Zero chance if Scorpion just up and teleported him into a pool of lava, which he could totally do. Scorpion was just too hot to handle.
The winner is Scorpion.
Wow, Ryu just got toasted by Scorpion, but I have to admit, Ryu put up one hell of a fight against his nemesis, and you can't blame him for giving his all, even though his all wasn't enough to take down the ghost ninja of the Mortal Kombat series. Now, I'm probably guessing that there are a lot of Street Fighter fans who are crying out foul and saying that Ryu should have won against Scorpion, and let's see if we can analyze the reasons why Ryu's abilities was not enough to stop the ghost ninja Scorpion. Now, the first argument is fairly obvious, and it pertains to the dark side of Ryu, or evil Ryu, and why his increased power and the Raging Demon failed against Scorpion. Well, as they said in the post-battle analysis,
in fact, Ryu had the perfect way to permanently end Scorpion, the soul-killing Raging Demon. But he could avoid the instant murder move thanks to his awesome ninja skills and teleportation.
Not to mention Ryu has very little experience actually using the Raging Demon anyway.
That's right. Ryu has very little experience in using the Raging Demon, and as you remember back in the pre-battle analysis, much of Ryu's time is spent trying to hold down his evil side. So, succumbing to that dark side of his powers, even for a little while, had already put a great strain on Ryu, and therefore, when it came out against Scorpion, it just wasn't enough, and eventually he reverted back to his normal state in trying to regain control. Now, there's also the argument as to why the power of nothingness had failed to defeat Scorpion as well. And that's a simple enough question to answer. It's because that unlike the dark side of Ryu's power, the lighter side of Ryu's power is said in the pre-battle analysis to be even stronger than the surge of murderous intent. However, as such, it would also put a greater drain on Ryu as well. And as you do remember that after he used it, he collapsed onto his knees, and then in the end, unfortunately, he had no strength whatsoever left over in order to get out of the way, and therefore Scorpion finished him off. Now, in the end, the reason why Scorpion won this battle is simply because it was just a matter of question of who could outlast who. And once he dragged Ryu into the Nether Realm, Scorpion possessed all the energy he needed in order to keep on fighting despite the pummeling that he gained from Dark Ryu and the final blast from the power of Nothingness. Scorpion could depend on the power of the Netherrealm to continually feed him strength. Ryu, on the other hand, had to rely on the internal reserves of ki that he possessed. And unfortunately for him, it became quite apparent who was going to run out of gas first. And unfortunately, that was Ryu. So, in the end, all Scorpion had to do was simply outlast him until finally Ryu couldn't continue on with the fight. And in the end, he won. Now, it's fairly apparent that I agree with the outcome of this battle and the post-battle analysis of Boomstick and Wizard as to why Scorpion won the fight. And even though I do like Scorpion, I also like Ryu. He's one of my favorite characters of the Street Fighter series, and I find nothing wrong with him. He gave it his all, and though unfortunately it wasn't enough, he still put up a really good fight, and I still like him for it. So, as I always say in my Death Battle videos at the beginning, don't ever take it personally if your favorite character loses this battle, because in the end, they're both great characters, and this is simply made for entertainment. So, until then, I hope you all be well, and we'll see you on the next time when Death Battle comes out. So, until then, see you then.